It's a little early, but we might have a little bit of a Young Turks renaissance. This is where they're going to find that common ground. That the crazy shit from the establishment, they both hate it. They just come at it from very different angles. And in the same way that I talk about us as conservatives in the culture war, if we stop worrying so much about how we came to the values that we hold, whether you get because God told you this, that, or the other, or you think because it's just the right thing, whatever. If we agree, then let's agree. And so if we, on the left and right, agree that the establishment is shit, then let's work together to bring it down, or at least change it into something acceptable. Yeah, that's like, yeah, that would be this same as like a whole publication. Yeah, like taking down the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or something like that. M169 said, so he still hasn't named the Republican who he thinks could win. Well, Guamtech said that he won't spoil it, so I guess it's still in here. So hopefully the party will run that long. Just saying. Bill Bradley said Nikki Haley wants all the smoke. Who cares about the strategic disadvantages of fighting wars on multiple fronts? The military-industrial complex wants to get paid. That's all they care about. That's all they care about. Politics first. Hell yeah, brother.
The classic corporate neocon Republican you'll ever see. I have a Republican neighbor while walking down the street. We run into each other. I say, hey, how's it going? And he's like, yeah, I saw the debates. And he's still making up his mind whether he's going to vote for Trump. And he's in LA, right? And he's holding down the fort. But I said, how about the others? He's like, yeah, they're trying to get us to vote for Nikki Haley. Not going to happen.
She's awful.
Not going to happen. So, and mainstream media can't see straight because they're in their bubble. And in their bubble, people that are corporate stooges like Marco Rubio and Hillary Clinton and Nikki Haley and Joe Biden are God's gift to humanity.
I answered your CT. I answered your DM.
They're like, who wouldn't love Marco Rubio? He has pleasured every donor there is. He is an upstanding Republican. Everybody who's going to vote for Marco Rubio. Then nobody voted for Marco Rubio. That's the one thing Trump and I agreed on.
This is why I like Matt Gaetz. I mean, disagree with him on policy, totally fine. But he gets grassroots contributions.
Yep.
He rejects the PAC money, and he's told these stories about all of these people get into Congress and they're enjoying the parties. The big military contractors they got the private jets, they got the luxury vehicles, they got the $100,000 party in Vegas, and this is what our members of Congress get to enjoy when you bend the knee to the war machine.
So, yeah, I have very nuanced opinions about Matt Gaetz. So, first, cenkforamerica.com.
So wait, did he say? Did he? Oh shit! Whose name did you just? Marco Rubio? Was that who he said could win? Because I don't. That doesn't sound like that's what he was saying.
Okay. So, or if it's easier to remember, Biden is going to lose.com. Okay. So if you agree that
what's LBSL?
Biden's going to lose, sending $1 is a form of a protest. And I'm a proxy candidate for every other candidate to get in this race already. If you don't want Joe Biden to lose and the Democrats to lose, which is almost certainly going to happen. Okay. Now for Matt Gaetz.
Let's go. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for the likes and the support all the way around. Thank you. I don't think so.
So Matt stopped taking corporate PAC money, and it made a giant difference. So for the Democrats, it didn't make any difference at all. They look at Matt Gaetz and they see the devil, right? And so on his radical right-wing positions and his conspiracy theories, I got no interest in it, and I'll fight him all the way on that stuff. But the minute he started taking corporate PAC money, at least he started becoming honest.
When he stopped taking it.
Yeah, when he stopped taking it. He and all I care is about honesty. You could be as right-wing as you want. That's called democracy, okay?
Yeah,
and
I agree.
So
that's democracy, Jack. CT saying I would even push back that politics are just a dividing line. Most people agree or align when you look past the politics of it all. Generally, I think the disagreements come from the process. I think most people want peace, prosperity, safety, all these kinds of things, but the answers on how to get there are very different. And that's where politics comes in, is the process. Because when you're trying to scale something up for a whole country, a whole state even, then, things that maybe work in your household don't necessarily work elsewhere. And so people might think, well, I have a better idea in my household. We do this in my household with that, and it scales up. So I do think it's important. But yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, most of us want the same kind of thing. And yeah, he's just word souping it all over the place. Hey, we got Indie Film. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. So respect for Cenk for being on Tomcat. Love it. Are we sure Cenk isn't faking his voice? Well, if he is, then he deserves an Academy Award because, I mean, god damn. He's kept it up for what, 15, 20 years now. Ron Southall said, appreciate the dialogue. Hey, brother, that is what we are here for. Glad you are here. She said, Joe, we don't want the truth. We want facts, Biden.
Come on, man.
You already said that, bro.
He introduced anti-corruption bills, and then Ro Khanna and AOC agree with him.
Yeah, and right. And I loved when he said, "I'll give you concessions on the motion to vacate if you adopt Ro Khanna's reforms."
I went on air and I said that's a great idea.
Oh, we got to do it.
Okay,
people want that stuff.
Yeah. So, and so you remember how I mentioned I come bearing revolution in the beginning. This is what I'm talking about: a revolution where we're not talking about left and right as much anymore. Now we did a lot in this, and I'm sure we have to by definition because it's a lot of times left versus right. I get it. I'm not trying to erase the language, etc. But while we're fighting on things we actually care about, and you saw how much I disagree on certain things, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to give any ground on that, and nobody has to give ground on the right or the left on those issues, right? But can we also, at the same time, agree on things where we do a revolution against the establishment? Okay. So, and the best place to start is anti-corruption.
There you go, ladies. Take your shot. Ron's got the abdominals. Let's go.
So, and I explain this in the book. As much as I, go after Republicans and I say mean things about them, okay, but I also explain there's a difference between conservative politicians or Republican politicians and Republican voters. And
is this not exactly what I fucking say to you guys? We're going to back this up because I just want to, I mean, whether it's left, right, or anything, if there's shit that I'm saying that's coming out of the mouths of, top tier in some people's minds, political pundits, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. Real quick, MK said, yes, definitely not just about left and right anymore. It's about right and wrong. Brilliant, sir. It's not about left and right. It's about right and wrong. Well said, sir. Bill Bradley says Cenk calls himself a progressive, but he's really more of a classical liberal. Progressives support censorship because words are violence. Classical liberals at least support free speech. It would be nice if he understood this. We understand that, but he has no clue. He's fighting for people who he thinks are on his team when really they hate him because he's in line with all the things that they don't want. Just in a different way than we're aligned with the things that they don't want. I would love if Cenk would understand. And I think it's going to happen. Anna was the linchpin. Now that she realizes that the progressive leftist, whatever you want to call it, that has gone way further left than she expected. I think it's a little early, but we might have a little bit of a Young Turks renaissance. Who knows? Maybe.
And Republican politicians are 99% corrupt, and the Democrats are about 90% corrupt.
I think it's inverted, but we agree on the let's just do the Venn diagram of 90% or 80% is corrupt.
Yes, totally. Okay. So, and the reason that Trump won in 2016, or a huge part of it was, well, there's two main reasons. One, and the establishment gets this wrong. They think one of the main reasons is because he's racist, bigoted, etc. I think that gets some voters, but that's not why he won, right? He won because he's anti-establishment and the country despises establishment.
And Hillary Clinton.
Right. And Hillary Clinton is the most establishment figure. They don't despise Hillary Clinton for being Hillary Clinton. They despise her for representing the establishment.
Okay. Both. Like, absolutely. She represents the establishment and is a reason why we hate her. But also, she's just an awful woman. Yeah, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. He's just throwing numbers out, and of course, you know that people just throwing numbers out to be hyperbolic that's fine in conversation. It seems like they both understand that that was not a that was not a statistic that he was throwing out. He was just saying like a lot. It seems like they both understood that, and that should be fine. But we know that if something else were to happen the other way around, that he's going to go right back to the Young Turks and be like, "Oh well, Tim said it was 6, but it was actually only 5. He's fear mongering, of course." It's like, bro, come on. So I mean, the only reason that this is an issue is because I understood it that he just means most of them, and I agree. But when you're putting a number on it, then now you're making it a specific claim. And I'm okay with just having the discussion. But you're the source. Where's your source? Source. You can't be that flagrant with the words that you're using. Let's drink to that. Hillary is just a terrible, terrible person. Yep, she's still there. I think, yeah. I mean, she's getting there. I think she's always going to be a liberal. Again, there's too much weighing on, like, the stakes are too high for her to just be like, nah, I'm not part of this anymore. But she absolutely does have room to shift her perspective and still be who she is. So I think Anna and Destiny are probably going to end up in similar positions, that they're not going to become, one of us, but they're going to be the most reasonable people on that side. That's my guess. Agreed. Anna's still at TOT, and yep. And Cenk has stuck up for her recently. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're just as strong as ever. Hey man, I voted for Hillary, and that's it. So you done better than me. You done better than me. So not that sad. I think only voting ever for Hillary is pretty sad. But I will make it up to the country. Bill said people have to let their political ideology become their identity, and it becomes much harder to just walk away from it. Exactly. And it's not just her identity, but it's her job, which again are fused. But it's not just her identity. Like with these trans kids, there's money behind it. So imagine the kid who's depressed and autistic and has no friends, and then transitions, becomes non-binary, and now has all these new friends, and they're getting paid to be non-binary. What are the chances of that kid ever being like, no, actually, I'm cisgender? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And so we can see that Anna's going through something. How strongly it's going to affect her, I don't know, but certainly has already had a strong effect. And she was just on PBD today or yesterday, and it was pretty good. And 169 said most conservatives understand hyperbole. They're making a point. Lefties are a tad too literal. Yep. Context said, I want to praise them for swinging back towards the middle, but part of me feels like it's possibly a ploy to appeal to centrist voters. Maybe that's possible. But I don't think I would have to see more evidence to that, because it really all started with the birthing persons thing with Anna. And I don't think that she would have had, like, we obviously could see like, oh, honey, you stepping in it. But I don't think she would have known at the time how vicious the pushback would be, because she was part of the mob. And so once you become an apostate of the mob, and you see it like, oh, that's an awakening thing. Ron said we were in war, and we needed a wartime president. When is that? Because I mean, we're in war now, but I much preferred when we were not at war. And when you're talking about McCain, gotcha. Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. Nick says, I'm glad the Democrats showed their hand, so it's clear who the most racist people actually are. because it's made a lot of people come see they're welcomed by Republicans. Their loss, our gain. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Exactly. I mean, you can't, it's just, come on. Yeah. So should I cover that one? I don't know. I was thinking about it, but obviously this was more relevant. But maybe we'll see. Maybe members only. Maybe members only. Maybe I'll do that one as a members only. If you would like to join, that button's right there. Context said there are some pretty heinous shit in the past few years, and they just suddenly move away from the left. Smells fishy to me. Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. It definitely could be, but I would need to see more evidence. I would need to see more because it does seem genuine. It seems genuine to me, and I think it is genuine. Bell said, actually, with Anna, it started with her being accosted by 2 homeless men and how she got no sympathy for it because the homeless can do no wrong to the left. Then came the birthing person and she lost it. That's right. I forgot about that.
Okay.
I had to vote.
Where'd everybody go?
Voted for Bernie.
Yeah, so many people would have voted for Bernie, but you can't get the knuckleheads on cable news to acknowledge reality. That's what I mean. They live in their own bubble. And to me, that bubble is just as diluted as the Trump supporters who think the election was stolen. Those guys are like, no. Politicians take money just because they care about the general welfare. Oh, come on.
But as you pointed out,
that's a lunatic theory.
Bernie, I'll say this generally speaking, to them, Bernie was worse than Trump.
Definitely. Because like I said earlier, Bernie would have changed the system. And Bernie would have stuck up for the average guy. They hate.
Hold on. I need to sit on that. Bernie would have been worse than Trump to the establishment. What do you put a one? Put a one if you agree that that the establishment was more afraid of Bernie than Trump in 2015. Because the assumption is that Bernie would have been more effective in getting his socialist policies. And I don't know about that. Bill said, I do like the word knuckleheads. It's 8th and rowback. He said, live in a bubble? Does this guy hear himself? To be fair, he did, address how the left is definitely in its own bubble as well. Bill said, Bernie from the 1970s, but not Bernie from 2016. That is fair. Socialist USA is scary. No, I don't want that. Yeah, he was already co-op. Yeah, he just rolled over so easily. And I was a Bernie bro. I was riding for him. And then he just rolled over. It's like, all right, bro. I'm glad. I'm glad that I didn't waste my vote. Even if you did win, it still would have been a waste. Because you are nothing. You have no backbone. You have nothing. Context, I'd say it's pretty equal between Bernie and Trump being dangerous to the establishment. I don't know. I disagree. I just think he's so weak. Yeah, CT says, I think Bernie did know how government worked, would probably be a better operator than Trump as far as getting shit done. I disagree. Okay, let's try to work together, okay? We'll just we'll do this, and we'll give this people money, and then it'll all be great. And then people will be like, no, we're not doing that. Okay, all right. Well, just as long as the billionaires. I don't think so. I don't think he would have gotten jack shit done. MK said, Trump opened my eyes to the corruption that runs rampant in DC. Me too. And that's the thing about Bernie is that as weak as he is and was, I don't think he was I don't think he had the chutzpah to use the corruption machine that's running in DC for his own gains, which again, we've already established that if you're going to be a president, you're looking for your own gains. You're not out here because you care about the American people. We're not stupid. We understand that that's not what's going on. But I don't know. I don't think he would have gotten much done at all. Bill said Chris Hedges heard Bernie say that he did not want the DNC to turn him into Ralph Nader. He was terrified of a ghost from 20 years. Bernie was co-opted. Fair enough.
Hate anyone who sticks up for the average guy.
It's not just that. you could make the argument that they more feared Trump for certain reasons, but Bernie took the party from them if he won. If Bernie won, he became the Democrat leader. And so their attitude is like, let Trump win so we can keep control of the Democratic Party and we don't allow outsiders to take us over. We may lose for 4 years in the White House, but we retain our cabal.
Plus, we'll get corporate tax.
The millionaires and billionaires. Thank you, sir.
Tax cuts. So it was like, and plus we'll get good ratings.
Take what you can get from Trump.
Right, because Trump's entertaining, we'll also get good ratings. So the corporate media thought it was a win-win-win for them. It's just that when Trump started doing things just on his own behalf instead of on behalf of everyone else, the corporate elitist crowd, right? That's when they turned on Trump. But again, if Trump had done that to stick up to the average guy, then I would have liked him. But he didn't. He only did it for his own benefit.
That's fair, and I don't disagree with that at all. But I still think it was. I mean, what has Bernie done? Or Bernie, what has Biden done for himself that's made my life better? Lesser of two evils, at the very least.
So then that gets back to the question of if it was just Trump or Biden, right? And which, then I'm definitely going to vote for Biden in that scenario.
Oh,
why? I told you 100 bad things about Biden here, right? Because of the coup attempt. I'm not going to put a guy back in charge of our democracy who already tried to overturn our democracy, who already did a coup attempt against democracy. That is a fascist, and that is a guy I do not trust under any circumstance.
Fascist.
The Democrats
Please ask him for a definition of fascism or fascist.
overuse the word fascist. Ron DeSantis is loathsome, but he's not a fascist. He did not try to overturn any democracy. No, Trump is the only person who had a fake elector scheme that tried to execute a coup, and I would never, ever take that risk. And besides which, that guy betrayed our country. There's no way in the world you should.
Exactly. M169. My wallet was fatter under Trump. I'll take the mean tweets and cheap gas any day. Exactly. Bill said Trump's less likely to lead us into World War III. That is a very real existential threat, and Biden is flirting with the literal end of the world as we know it.
Of
course. How do we not all agree on this? I mean, I think we all agree on this, but thank you, brother. No hard feelings. Just glad you are here. Yeah, whose wallet wasn't fatter? I was trying to think of a joke about, somebody, but really, there's nobody. Everybody was making more money. CT said, yeah, I think that's a fair point. Trump did massive tax cuts for the rich, but they also had great benefit on the lower income. He did both. It's almost like these things that it starts at the top and then it filters down in some way. It's like a trickle. It trickles down.
Ever vote for him.
So here's a big challenge. I'm a I grew up in Chicago, traditionally liberal, pro-choice, pro-progressive tax, a whole bunch of these things that used to be associated with Democrats, safe, legal, rare, etc. And the majority of people who watch our show are middle of the road, moderate types. Mm-hmm. Many of them switched to Donald Trump, and the reason greatly is for the average person who doesn't have time to pay attention or lives in an area that's split 50-50, you've got what is viewed as unreasonable cultural positions from the left and young people. And then you've got who's right when it comes to, did Donald Trump try to steal the election or did Joe Biden? And I understand your position. And then
actually, no, it's not Biden. Biden doesn't know what the fuck is going on, but the Democrats.
I hear an inversion from the right. And of course, you'll assert you're correct, of course, and cite your facts. They'll do something similar. And of course, there is an objective truth. But for people who are in the middle, they're just like, man, I hear two sides bickering. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand there's an objective truth.
And I'm glad he repeated that, because that's why I wanted to pause on. There is an objective truth. And as much as Cenk hates that reality, indeed it is a reality.
But I don't see you being able to cut through to the person who's like, I don't want to hear the fighting. What ends up happening with Trump is you get this fervent, I will fire everybody revenge. I love that. You get no new wars.
I hate that.
That he's going to fire everybody. I think it's good.
You just listed all the people around him that you didn't like. Why wouldn't you want him to fire the people that you don't like? Again, We're talking about the establishment, which you both hate for different reasons. Why would you not want him to go in and drain the swamp?
No, it's terrible because he's not firing the corporatists. He's firing like bureaucrats that are doing important jobs.
Important jobs like what? No, the important bureaucrats.
No, I know right wing. You think like there should be
Right
no
wing.
government, but there is.
I think there should be government.
I'm
for
we need
government.
honest government.
I agree.
The problem is not that the government exists. The problem is that this government has become corrupted.
Shouldn't we get rid of the corruption?
The way you get rid of the corruption is you get rid of the corrupt politicians who are taking money from corporations. And if you showed me, hey, here's a guy who.
All right, but if you could just have one guy go in and take out all of these high-level people who are causing the corruption, why wouldn't you want that?
Who's a government bureaucrat, but he's funneling money to corporations in a way that is wrong, then of course fire that guy. But if you come in and you blanket fire everybody in the Department of Education, Department of Energy, Department of this and that, and then you find out, oh, Department of Energy runs the nukes. Oh no, we don't have staff to run the nukes, and we need staff to run the nukes.
Well, so
Really, Cenk? You think that it's a possibility that Trump gets elected again? Remember, he already ran the country for 4 years. He's going to get elected. And then he's going to fire people just so willy-nilly that we're going to be in a world war, which Biden got us into. And he's going to fire the only person who can operate what are you talking about? Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.